I brought my adorable 5 grandchildren over to your place, hoping you guys would enjoy their company. Children, can you believe it? Suddenly, she arrived at the brand new house she had built, bringing the kids along, without even giving us a heads up. I'm Amanda, 34 years old, married for 2 years to my husband Will. We both make a living by teaching programming at a school we run. Teaching has always been close to my heart, a childhood aspiration I pursued by taking the teacher certification exam. Ironically, instead of becoming a teacher, I ended up owning a school. Regardless, my job is incredibly fulfilling. As a couple, our dream was to build a house together. We worked tirelessly for years, saving money with support from my parents. Our goal was to achieve this dream earlier than anticipated this year. Yet there's a concern in our lives concerning Will's family. Will is the third of 4 siblings, and his parents show favoritism towards the eldest son and daughter, often neglecting him. When his younger brother arrived, their attention shifted again. During high school, Will worked part-time to save for college, but his mother took his savings without his knowledge, leaving him with a lengthy daily commute to university. University life pushed Will to the brink as he juggled 2 part-time jobs. This marked the start of his estrangement from his family. When the topic of our marriage arose, he shared his troubled relationship with his parents. We decided to formally inform his parents about our marriage, even though it seemed like a mere formality. Their unexpected response surprised us. Will's mother apologized for their past actions and expressed a desire to mend their relationship. She even mentioned the possibility of starting anew as a family. This unexpected gesture brought a sense of relief to Will and paved the way for him to mend things with his family. With their blessings, we got married safely. For a while, our relationship with his family improved. However, as time passed, changes set in. Amidst our busy schedules, the intensity of our programming class training grew during the summer break. One day, I received a call from my sister, Indu. She quickly launched into a request, asking for programming class materials for her child. I explained that our resources were limited and giving away materials for free was against the rules. Her dissatisfaction was palpable, and she continued to press for a solution, believing it would benefit her son's future. My sister Indo persistently asked me for teaching materials, but I had to decline due to constraints. Frustrated, she hung up when she realized her request wouldn't be met. Her attitude bothered me, but I only shared the situation with Will. He had started to improve his relationship with his family, so I didn't want to add more stress. Although we couldn't provide materials, I suggested offering advice. After hearing this, Will reached out to his sister. Looking back, this may have sparked a series of events. A few days later, Will's mother contacted me regarding her grandchild. She asked if I could teach programming during my free time. I explained my busy schedule during the summer break and suggested consulting local programming schools or teachers. Despite her initial request, she abruptly ended the call. I recounted this to Will, being transparent about the incident. He expressed his discontent with his mother's approach, but acknowledged that his nephew wasn't at fault. After pondering, he proposed that once our workload lightened, we could care for his nephew. The hectic summer passed without major issues. When we finally had time, we visited my sister-in-law's home. We focused on her elementary school-aged second son, noticing his educational deficiencies. We recommended discussing this with the school, as it appeared he rarely attended. My sister-in-law shifted blame onto the school and expected us to teach him instead, catching us off guard. We visited multiple times, emphasizing both regular studies and casual conversations. This aided my nephew's return to school, alleviating our concerns. However, demands from Will's family escalated. They requested free tutoring and discounted programming classes. This mirrored Will's past experiences, but he struggled to cut off ties now that things were improving. Gradually, he complied with their requests, despite the difficulties. Concerned, I talked to Will multiple times, but he felt a responsibility not to burden me and wished to help the children. Moreover, he believed our relationship with his family was on the mend. Respecting his decision, I decided to only offer financial support. On his days off, Will juggled his own work, created materials, and cared for his siblings' children, sacrificing sleep. However, their appreciation dwindled as his efforts grew. They reproached him for not doing enough, blaming him for their problems. Visits to his siblings' homes turned sour as they criticized him relentlessly. The situation deteriorated further when we were met with similar attitudes at my sister-in-law's home. My husband, Will, consistently made an effort, but doubts arose about what I, Amanda, was doing. It seemed as if I wasn't contributing much to my husband's family. I had been patient for Will's sake, but at my sister-in-law's gathering, I could no longer remain silent. I questioned why only Will and I were expected to help. Shouldn't the child's parents be taking the lead? My bold response surprised them, yet they persisted, emphasizing family support. My mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and sister-in-law criticized me. Although I wanted to mention their lack of support, I refrained and left without a word. Outside, Will followed me and apologized, making me realize how I had been subjugating myself to heartless individuals. Over the years, we nearly severed ties with my in-laws. Still, we continued to teach their children occasionally, with more support from my parents. Thanks to this help, we were able to expedite building our new home. However, my mother-in-law discovered our new home plans and began meddling. She insisted on a two-family design and offered opinions on its construction. When a plumbing issue arose, we temporarily moved into another property. Despite being temporary, the spacious property gave us an idea. Instead of revealing our new home's address, we provided the address of the temporary property. As we moved into our new home, we took steps to fully disconnect from my in-laws. Yet my mother-in-law surprised us by visiting the temporary home with 5 grandchildren in tow. She suggested we care for them while they went on an adults-only trip. My sister-in-law reinforced this request, but I confidently questioned their identity as they entered noisily. In response to my question, they were taken aback. They asked if I didn't recognize them and questioned why I said that. They argued that this was an opportunity to rebuild our relationship. We exchanged heated words, my husband and I asserting that we didn't know them. The atmosphere became tense as they protested, and I stood firm. They asked if I wasn't acquainted with them. Finally, I admitted I didn't know them. As they were taken aback, I questioned their assertion. It was a turning point where I refused to accept their imposition and boldly confronted their manipulative behavior. I'm not familiar with such audacious individuals. Rightly so, when referring to my husband Will, he's now a part of my family, making my family his family. There's no place for strangers like you here. My in-laws were startled by my words, but my mother-in-law quickly retaliated. She accused me of being ridiculous and questioned our home's design. This prompted her to create a commotion, throwing shoes and knocking over a vase. The situation perplexed Will, leading us to contemplate involving the police for safety. Before making the call, my mother-in-law threatened us, mentioning Child Protective Services. In response, my sister-in-law rushed to gather the children, tossing them into the car along with a potted plant that she kicked over. They hastily left. I reached out to my family and the property agency to explain what happened. My father took charge, arranging legal assistance and ensuring our safety by preventing our ex-in-laws from approaching us. We discovered that the broken items were provided by the real estate agency, but due to a security camera at the entrance, we were able to claim compensation for the damage as property damage. Later, my ex-brother-in-law demanded payment for a trip cancellation and compensation, along with damages for leaving the children. We recorded the conversation, reported it to the police as blackmail, and dealt with the situation accordingly. Ultimately, my ex-mother-in-law and sister-in-law faced charges for property damage, while my ex-brother-in-law faced blackmail charges. In the aftermath, our contact with the nephew we cared for continued in secret. According to him, my sister-in-law was supposedly getting a divorce due to this incident, resulting in the children being taken by their father's family. We secured a restraining order against our ex-in-laws, putting a halt to further attacks. Our new home was successfully built, allowing us to move in without incident. As for me, I've been pursuing studies to become a child psychologist while managing my job. My aspiration is to be a pillar of support for children like Will and my nephew. Additionally, the thought of welcoming new family members has crossed our minds. Our intention is to lead an honest and sincere life, especially for the children who may come into our lives in the future.